In the winter of 1812, in a forgotten corner of northern England, a boy named Elias Harper took his first breath in a stone cottage that barely stood against the wind. Snow slipped through the cracks in the walls. The wind howled like a hungry wolf, and hunger lived in the house like a permanent resident. His father, a coal miner, died when Elias was only 6, buried alive under the collapsing earth. His mother cleaned clothes for wealthy families in the nearby town, walking barefoot on frozen ground just to earn a few pennies. Every night, she told Elias the same thing. "Son, you were born in darkness, so you can learn how to build your own light." Elias didn't fully understand her words then, but they became the anchor of his life. At age 9, he worked in the same coal mines that killed his father. The tunnels were narrow, wet, and black as death itself. Children crawled like insects, pulling carts of coal through mud. Every breath tasted like dust. Every day felt like a fight against the earth itself. But Elias had one gift, a stubborn heart. When other boys cried, he grit his teeth. When others gave up, he pushed harder. When he was exhausted, he remembered his mother's words. Still, he remained painfully poor. One summer evening, after a 14-hour shift, he sat outside the mine, watching horse-drawn carriages carrying businessmen, their hats tall and their coats fine. He saw another world, a world not made of dirt and darkness. And that was the moment the spark lit inside him. He whispered to himself, "I don't belong here forever. My life won't end in a tunnel." But dreams are only dreams unless pain shapes them into purpose. And pain came soon. When Elias was 14, his mother grew sick. Too sick to work, too sick to walk. Without income, the landlord threw them out. For 3 nights, they slept under a broken bridge, rain pouring, mud freezing. His mother coughed until blood stained the ground. Before she died, she held Elias's hand and said with a trembling voice, "Promise me you will rise, Elias. Promise you will build a life so strong even the wind cannot break it." He nodded with tears burning down his face. She smiled, closed her eyes, and never opened them again. Now totally alone, Elias buried her with his bare hands. No funeral, no prayers, no family. Just a boy in the rain, burying the only person he ever loved. It was the darkest night of his life. But sometimes, darkness is where giants are born. After the burial, he left the village with nothing but a sack containing a loaf of bread and his mother's scarf. He walked for 3 days until he reached Liverpool, a city buzzing with trade, iron, ships, and industry. This was the age of steam, the age of machines, the birth of modern business. Elias smelled opportunity the way men in mines smell danger. He worked as a dock sweeper, then a helper in a metal foundry. The heat of the furnace burned his skin, but he studied every tool, every method, every conversation between masters and engineers. And he discovered something, a problem, a gap in the world. The newly expanding railroads needed metal pins, small but crucial pieces that held the rails together. Without them, trains derailed. Factories made them slowly and poorly. Traders constantly complained. And Elias thought, if I can make a better pin, faster, I can change everything. But he had no money, no workshop, no tools, no education, just an idea. He began working double shifts, saving every coin. For 2 years, he slept in a warehouse corner, using coal sacks as pillows. He ate stale bread and water. He never wasted a penny, never went to pubs, never bought warm clothes, even in winter. Pain became his investment. Suffering became his fuel. Discipline became his best friend. By the age of 19, he saved enough to buy a broken hand press machine and rented an abandoned horse stable as his workshop. He worked alone, night after night, failing more times than he could count. The pins bent, they snapped, they twisted, but he didn't quit. One night, after 300 failed attempts, he created a metal pin so strong that even the heaviest rail stress couldn't break it. He named it the Harper pin. He visited railroad companies, but they laughed at him. A boy from the mines, making industrial parts? Come back when you grow a beard. Rejection cut him deep, but instead of killing him, it sharpened him. He stood outside every office until someone finally agreed to test his product. The result shocked them. His pin lasted 3 times longer than any competitor's, and it was cheaper to produce. Orders flooded in. He hired 2 workers, then 10, then 50. His small stable turned into a workshop, then a factory, then several factories across Britain. His company, Harper Iron Works, became the backbone of the expanding railway system. Iron, steel, connectors, tools, everything the age of steam needed. By the time Elias turned 40, he was one of the most successful industrialists in the entire country. Newspapers called him the boy who forged his own future. But he never forgot who he was. Never forgot the cold nights. Never forgot the mine. So he built schools for poor children. He founded shelters for orphans like himself. He quietly paid the debts of struggling families. He rebuilt his old village, turning it into a thriving community. People asked him, "How did you rise so far?" And he always gave the same answer. "I walk through darkness until I learn to create my own light." Before his death, he visited the mine where his father died. He stood in silence, breathing the cold air, and whispered, "I made it, Mother. I made it far beyond the tunnels." His story traveled across generations, an example of how pain can carve strength, how discipline can build empires, and how a boy with nothing can become a man who gives everything back. Because Elias Harper proved one truth: you are not defined by where you start. You are defined by how far you are willing to go. And you, yes, you reading this right now, you are capable of the same rise. Stand up. Fight forward. Build your own iron road. No excuses. No surrender. Just rise. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories inspired by Eric Bertrand Larssen.